Alex here, I'm going to kick it off. So just a reminder, as of 8 o'clock today, that was the cutoff time for any last-minute proxies. We have 2 proxies in terms of voting. Zachary Nowotny has nominated Ryan Cross as their proxy, and Tegan Smith has nominated Lee Perrott as their proxy. With that, I will assign the chair of the meeting to be Alex. But just before I move on to Alex, has everyone had time to review the minutes of the last AGM, the 2024 AGM?
Feel free to speak up in the channel.
Yeah. Right. The previous minutes have been in the member folder for you to check out. I think all of this should have been all of this month. That's okay. Not to worry.
Are you able to share that, Ryan, and then we can just go through it quickly?
So
people don't have access.
Ben, if you don't have access to the member folder, let me just double check.
I don't. Let's see if there is.
There's a link in this meeting's minutes.
Let me just double check. You should be on
These are the notes from the AGM last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I originally had brought them up.
So Ben,
yeah.
Ben Glayer, you'll need to be logged in using the email you registered with for Tgda to access the member section. Provided we've set it up correctly.
Yeah, look, I'm just double checking that. And I'm sorry if you hadn't got it before. If you haven't had access to the member folder before, please put a note and I will make sure that you are on the list and have access. So you'll be able to get it soon. In order for us to be able to make sure that everyone's had time to review the minutes, I'm going to give people 5 minutes to have a quick look.
I'm scrolling through the document now so people can have a bit of a read.
Yep.
In summary, for those that can't read there, we established a new process and membership side of things, so a paid membership for the association, and their membership price was proposed and endorsed at that meeting. It's $50 a head, $50 a member per annum, and also set up the committee. So there was the voting for the new committee was conducted, and I think you've got the results there as well for that. So it was really about establishing the Tgda in a different direction as a membership-based organisation, paid financial membership-based organisation, while still retaining non-financial members in treasurer terms as being anyone else who wants to be on the Facebook or Discord, but that we set up that new structure. So that was it in a nutshell for the last AGM. And I'm happy to move that as a true and accurate record.
I second that.
Cool. John, do you want to?
By Ben. Seconded by Carl. Sorry, what you were saying, Ryan?
Here, I'll do it this way.
For those unfamiliar, the process here is a motion is moved and seconded, and then it's put to the vote after that, which I think Ryan's just typing out the vote now. So a motion needs to be moved and seconded before it can be endorsed.
Is that what you're going to... we read each
Yeah.
other's minds. I will delete one. I'll delete mine so that there's only a single one. Excellent. Of course, even if they're approved, they'll still be in the member folder for you to go back and read after this if you are curious. There, with 13, that is approved. Done. Okay. With that, I will move on to Alex. It is time for you to present your president's report.
Ugh, steal my nerves. Boy, okay. So, welcome everyone to the AGM. This itself is a big step among many that the Tgda has done this year, and I'd really like to thank the outgoing committee, our sponsors, our supporters, our partners, and our members. The myriad of work and support that we've had this year has set up a really strong momentum for the future of the Tabletop Game Australia, and hopefully for the future committee. We have established so many things that hopefully makes all of our bits and pieces, systems, coverage, everything as fruitful as they can be for years to come. I covered a lot of these points at DevCon, so I might be going on. You might hear a couple of things that I said, but a little bit more detail. But you can read all of them in more detail in the President's report, which is uploaded and linked in the minutes. But here are some of the highlights for this year. In governance and structure, we established a new committee. It was all formalised. Ryan was really instrumental in helping that come across. We made very clear portfolio scopes and handover documents, so hopefully the incoming committee and people on the team can utilize those and make that transfer as easy and manageable as possible. We've had monthly meetings with detailed minutes that you all have access to as well. In the membership and community area, we launched our new membership program, as Ben mentioned before. We created an official membership registry with the help of John and Ben. We had strong community growth online. We did monthly newsletters, resources and updates, which I had a lot of fun working out and doing with Matt. In awards and events, Ahmad helped us out. We got publishers involved in judging. 2 games were signed from awards. The Take My Money Award opened internationally, which we had several people apply and compete. We had a wonderfully successful PAX booth in the Collaboratory once again. We revamped DevCon. That was mostly Ryan and John doing talks and more playtesting. Playtesting was fantastic. I especially enjoyed visiting and seeing people's designs there. The Tabletop Game Designers Australia represented at a few events across Australia, and we had our first Tgda meetup at CanCon. It was good, I hear. I wasn't there personally, but it was good. In partnerships and sponsorships, we created several new relationships with strong partners. We had very strong sponsorship support for awards and events, and we even showcased internationally at the Essence Spiel. I believe Tegan was involved in a lot of that, and Ryan. Financial improvements. We have a fantastic treasurer currently. So whoever stepped into that role has some big boots to fill. We created a new term deposit, Tgda credit card. We got new accounting software. We investigated and resolved unpaid fees. We have better financial tracking systems, and we bought a new Square terminal for events, which you might have seen at PAX. In our communications and outreach, we did our monthly newsletters. We tried to do that every month to keep everyone informed and updated. We increased our social media engagement. We have new event planning procedures. Our document standards have improved, and we removed the AI bear from social media. So, like I said, you can read this in way more detail in the President report, but in view, the Tgda is a much stronger organization, much more organized, much better functioning. Everything about it is stronger, bigger, and better. We've had record growth and partnerships, lots of opportunities, and I'm really excited to see what happens next year. As far as it grows and as far as projects that the new committee will embark on. That covers me.
Thank you very much. I would say give him a round of applause, but I don't think Alex would be able to hear it, so I'm just going to imagine everybody
The
clapping
silent
profusely.
round of applause is deafening.
Yep. Yay! Thanks, Lee. I would like just to say one thing before we move to Ben. For those of you who have been trying to get access to the folder, I should have double-checked your access, so please check the link that was sent earlier in your emails for access to the member folder. And the links that have been shared, you should be able to see. So that should be all good.
Also getting a lot of virtual.
The President's
as
does
well.
not require to be moved and accepted. So that's been the wrong.
Cool.
Next up is Ben.
Cool. Treasurer's report. So it's up there and also in the folder, as we said. But as Alex alluded to, the huge financial change this year, the main one being from the paid, or as I call them, financial members, transitioning our support from Patreon, although we still have Patreon supporters and they can still support us there. And thank you for those that do. We created a term deposit account of $10,000. Put that in as a 11-month term, and we've actually rolled that over for a further 11 months. We have more than ample cash reserves to keep us afloat. So it's might as well make the money work for us. And as Alex said, we've also got a new debit card, which makes life a lot easier for paying for things. So it's not a credit card, a debit card. We have to have the money. So as you have a look through the financials there, membership has come in at just over $3,000. PAX booth is always quite a good income earner, and we've had a little bit of a further income around DevCon and the sponsorship, which Alex mentioned. So all in all, for the financial year, we've come out at around $7,855.49 ahead, which is fantastic. That's a great bit of profitability that we've got, and liquid assets sit at around 27,500, which certainly means we have more than enough to keep ourselves afloat and keep operating. We currently have no liabilities, so everything's fairly tickety-boo in terms of financials. And if anyone has any questions, happy to take them. I'll go back to the chat to see if there's anything there.
Yeah, feel free to either put your question into the chat, or if you raise your hand, I can bring you on stage to discuss your question directly.
We can concentrate on the chat if you want to concentrate on your report.
Oh, okay. There's one question there. Can I ask for a plan for the money per year? Does that mean, sorry, Wes, in terms of future planning, or what are we planning to do with the money? Where's it's typing? And yes, John jumped the gun there. We probably needed a seconder for the Treasurer's report, but if there
I'll
is a
second.
second person, thanks, Ryan, to get the formalities out of the road there. Wes can't unmute. I think he wants to jump in. If you can bring him into the
There you go.
stage or whatever it is.
Bring him up to the stage.
Welcome,
Cool. Yep,
Wes.
that worked. Just wondering, like, if there was plan for where the money was being spent, like across a year, like how much into different avenues. That was my question.
Oh, well, that'll be up to the new committee to set that agenda. As can be seen, we do have PAX is always our biggest, and DevCon is always our biggest expenditure, I guess, in terms of what we do. So we'll need to be able to be operating for that. But it's great that we've now got a large surplus that we can operate all of that without having to worry about funding. So it's extra bit of fat there. And this is probably the first year where we've had significant sponsorship to the level that we've got. So if you take out that $5,000, we would have come out with about an operating surplus of just over $2,000. So the sponsorship's been a big change for this year, and I think it's fantastic. And we'll have to work out, the new committee will have to work out what they want to do with that and how they can use that money into the future, I guess, is the answer.
The old committee all got Lamborghinis.
Yeah. I'm
My goodness.
I think to Wes's point, I think what we'll probably look at doing is next year, each of the different committee members, when they take on their portfolios, they'll probably want to submit some sort of budget of what they want to spend for their portfolio, and then the committee will vote on that budget. Would be my guess of how we can allocate that to different things throughout the year.
We've got an interesting question from Tom here.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to read that one.
Our expenses are relatively low compared to the membership fees. That DevCon sponsorship is higher than the fees in the first place. Are you anticipating that sponsorship will continue? And are the membership fees appropriate given that level of income versus expense? So I'll take this one just because I was the one doing most of the sponsorship. So I'm happy to talk in more detail about how we approach sponsorship this year, but in short, we put together packages for sponsorship for DevCon as an event itself, as well as for sponsorship for like an annual sponsorship model to continue our programs in a longer capacity. So far, we had some initial interest from the sponsors on doing annual sponsorships, but so far we haven't gotten anybody to take that on board. So it's only been limited to sponsorship for the for DevCon, and then we've had a tiny bit of kind of contributions for some of the awards. The ability for us to kind of balance that sponsorship versus our fees is based off of the fact that we want to be able to take on bigger programs and do more. There's always more stuff from the community to actually want to do more stuff, and so this kind of stuff will allow. That's, for example, doing more in other events, which we did 2 years back, or contributing to, for example, a lot of the operational overheads, which we've started to take on as we mature the organization for the voting systems and the other kind of infrastructure that we've been laying in place. All of those things contribute to that. So it's not just a balance of kind of ticket fees versus the sponsorship dollars. The way that we structured the actual DevCon event itself was to try to keep the ticket fees themselves essentially break even. So that if we had no sponsor, we would just barely be able to expect that the ticket fees would cover the cost of DevCon without any significant loss. And then the sponsorship allows us to kind of do more stuff like the catering and other pieces in a better capacity, as well as fund programs into the next year. Does that answer your question, Tom?
I think it probably fits in with Ben's as well there around the long-term goal. As this is the first year we've had paid membership, significant increase in sponsorship. I think it's it's a learning lesson for all of us in the committee and for the organisation. So I think moving forward, there's a lot of ideas, and I think it'll be the new committee at least have a great standing, a great position to be able to build on that and to do more programs and more things. So that's probably where we're at, is that we're in a really solid position to not only be financial and keep ourselves, afloat, but also to be able to provide extra things into the future and extra programs and be able to start new initiatives and fund them. As Ryan said, if the portfolios have an idea, we actually have money. We can go, okay, but do the budget. Let's, I'll be asking for still treasure. So hopefully that answered that as well. And can we raise a question about DevCon? Technically, AGMs are kind of very set, so maybe that's something we can raise later, Steve, with the committee itself.
Yeah, what I might suggest, mostly for time perspectives, let's continue on with our existing agenda, and then we can definitely either open up this to a more formal Q&A for the rest of the outgoing board, but we can also move into one of the more community channels if we want to have more open conversation about things. But yeah, we definitely keen to get your questions and answer anything about DevCon as well, Steve.
And I think,
from
John, is that enough of them? Oh, question, sorry.
Yes, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. Sorry. Just before we move on to the next question, the one thing I wanted to mention about the membership fees is that we have a motion that will be coming later in regards to keeping the membership fees as they are. And one of the reasons why we can do that is because of the sponsorship that we were able to. So the more sponsors, hopefully, if we get more sponsorship next year, it will mean we won't need to increase fees.
That's true.
Ralph, the question again is probably, yeah.
I'm happy to talk about that as well, but let's maybe move that to the back end of the meeting, and then we can cover that in more detail.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, as John just mentioned, there is a motion there which we can put now around fees and charges for the future year. So this will be for 2026 financial year, is to keep the motion there as written is to keep the membership year remains the same from 1st of October to the 30th of September, and that the membership amount be set to $50 for members. And I put that motion and have a seconder.
Sorry, I was planning to do the motions another time, but I'm happy to do them now if you're comfortable.
No, I think this is the next step for us, is to do this. So we've already got a motion that's essentially accepted for the treasurer's report. The next motion for membership is that are we doing the same time, or are we doing them all in one hit?
We'll do them. There'll be separate comments.
Okay.
But the first I'll do the two relating to membership now, because we have one around ordinary committee members. We have two ordinary committee members, and I want to give people the opportunity to ask us questions about committee structure before we move into that.
Sure.
So the first one is on the membership year remains the same. And the second one is the price of membership. Those motions are, I don't need to move. These are decisions that we need to have.
You do need to move them and second them. So
I'm
happy to move both.
Apologies.
If you want, someone wants to second them. You can second both, John, if you want.
I'm seconding both. Ralph, please make sure you do your thumbs up on the actual posts, please. Oh, good, Ralph.
Just a small bit of housekeeping for you, John. Just a heads up, we've got 29 current attendees on the meeting, so when you're keeping track of how many people vote, we've got a number of people that are not voting as well.
That's 28.
That makes sense.
We've got the recording bot.
Yes, it's 28. Sorry.
It's fine. The recording bot is not a committee member. Doesn't get a choice.
Yes. We're the machine overlords.
I mean, except if it's the AI bear on Facebook, that one can go die.
All right.
Voting rights.
From what I can see, both of those votes have no negatives, so they would pass unanimously. I don't know. Do we need, now that we've got the motions, actually the actual vote for those motions, John?
So this was the vote for the motions. The motions have been accepted, and now they're so we got more than half. Well, we got more than half the audience agreeing, so we're all good.
Okay.
Which brings us to questions about the TGDA committee, portfolio rules, and roles and regional representatives. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because this year there was a big change in regards to how the committee was structured. It's all in the previous AGM notes. But in short, the constitution of the TGDA ensures that we have 4 constitutional members, which is the president, the vice president, the treasurer, and the secretary. In the info pack I've provided, you will have a little description around what each of those does. But if you're not already aware, it's pretty straightforward. And then there are 18 ordinary committee members. Now, at the moment, those 18 ordinary committee members can be from anywhere in Australia. But one of our motions is to make it put into the Constitution that these 18 committee members should be representative from across Australia, with a limit to 2 per state. So 2 for Victoria, 2 for New South Wales, 2 for Queensland, 2 for WA, etc. And we are including New Zealand in here.
Including New Zealand. Yep.
Including New Zealand, yes.
Yep.
And this was proposed last year, but at last year's committee, it didn't get enough votes to pass. But we want to bring it forward again.
So I'll just clarify a few points there, John. So
sure.
So the Constitution actually also includes ordinary committee members. We have to have a minimum of 1 according to the Constitution, but we're allowed to set whatever that number is as part of the other thing that we vote for, is what are the number of ordinary members that we want. So last year we also intended to have the 2 regional reps per state model, but we didn't, because of the way that the AGM was scheduled last year. We were still kind of formalizing some of our process a little bit. It would have required more voting notice about that change. So what we did last year was we actually still intended to do this, but we only were able, because of the way that we were setting the motion like we are this year, we were only able to set the number of committee members to 18, but not make the constitutional change to limit the regional representatives. So what this year is keeping the same 18 committee members, but making the constitutional change that limits the each region to have 2.
We got 2 questions.
Which is what we had done for this
is,
year as well, just not formally.
Yeah. So this year we've been doing our best. One thing I should mention is the 4 constitutional roles can come from those people can come from anywhere. There's no restriction on where they come from. But the representatives must come from, we want to make it so that they're limited by state. Why New Zealand has been added? because, well, we thought that New Zealand was worth adding because they do have a board game presence, and by Australia and New Zealand working together, we can provide a stronger case for, I guess, the needs of game designers. So
historically, we have always included New Zealand in our pool as well for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So will the name be amended to reflect this? We don't currently have plans to do it. That might be something the next committee wants to do. The other that create problems with states with less population. Well, not exactly. The reason being is it's two representatives for those states. They're basically people who are on committee. The committee still has to come to an agreement together. And if there's a change to the organization, that change still has to be made with the votes of members, like we are having motions now. So it shouldn't create issues for states with less populations unless the populations of people within the organization are like if there's lots of people from a particular state, which was one of the criticisms that we had in the past. One particular person used to call the Tgda the Tabletop Games Designers Victoria, which was one of the reasons why this was proposed in the first place, so that we are properly representative of Australia.
So one of the intents of it is that we have multiple portfolios that cover the whole country anyway. By having two for each state, it means around in each area to help do, I guess, on the ground activities, like physically managing events. So although we've got people from each state, that doesn't mean that we're spreading to those areas only. The committee is working for the whole of Australia, not just their states. So we're not pulling things specifically for individual states. The committee itself, so the committee, the are separate to those general for two for each state as well. So that's a separate pool of people that they could come out of. They would be in addition to the two for each of those states as well. So more than likely we'll end up with more than two people for each of those states that do have more people in them.
Just a quick question. Ralph, are you there still? I just want to let you know that if you are ducking out, you will need to vote. So you'll get that might be a problem if you have to duck out. Please come back or message one of us on Discord in order to make sure that your vote gets in. But yes, please come back if you can. It will potentially cause issues if other people have to jump out and can't return for the voting. In regards to other questions.
Yeah,
you're going to say,
other questions I can address in kind of collectively. So there's a couple of questions here broadly around, I guess, the flaws in limiting the number of representatives per state and other elements. So the intention here is that there is a maximum of two within the ordinary members. There is a maximum of two per region, and that's to make sure that there is some level of even for each state. The second part, though, in terms of do you need to be a regional representative? Yes, you do need to be a committee member in order to be a regional representative. At the same time, you don't have to be a committee member to contribute to the committee. So there's a lot of working groups. So for example, I was one of my portfolios this year was the community management. And so I also had a group of moderators and playtest hosts that weren't part of the committee, and they were still contributing to a lot of the organization of that stuff. So there are definitely ways that people can contribute without being on the committee. The committee basically makes sure that you have monthly meetings, there's decisions that are made, as well as portfolios to coordinate the work nationally as well. I think I've hit most of the from Wes and Tom, but if there's anything else,
Yep.
we
I
can.
just want to make it clear that it's okay if we don't fill all of the general members. So, for example, this year we haven't had any representatives from the Northern Territory or Tasmania. Pretty sure all the others we've had representative. Oh, or New Zealand.
We
And
actually
so
have
it's
two. Actually, this I'm not sure if they'll nominate.
no, but
two.
Sorry, this current year.
Oh,
this
yeah,
current
yeah.
year we haven't had those people on committee fulfilling those roles. So it's okay for it to have one person or no people. That's fine. It's just we want to limit the number of committee based so that the committee is by its definition a representative of Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, that should answer everyone's questions, I believe. There is one other thing I wanted to mention. Every member of the committee is expected to fulfill what's called a functional portfolio, and I've included the descriptions of those in the AGM info pack. And those are the different like events portfolio or awards portfolio, facing the other ones off the top of my head, community management, memberships, partnerships, and advocacy. So if you are a regional rep, you're not just going to be attending the meetings to advocate for your area. You're also expected to contribute by leading or supporting one of those portfolios. So I don't want to give people idea. If you join committee, you just represent an area, and we ask you questions. It's not like that. It's you'll be given a portfolio, and you don't worry. You'll be given help from the previous committee members, and handover about any of the responsibilities, and where that portfolio got up to. But everyone is responsible for making sure that committee works. And so even the representatives, the regional representatives, are expected to contribute to those portfolios. There may be a situation, though, where we have more people on committee than we have portfolios to lead, in which case people will become like second leads for portfolios, and that's also fine. The president, the vice president, the secretary, and treasurer are fallbacks for all the portfolios. So if at any time someone is unable to perform their role for a portfolio temporarily, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer will be able to help them with those functional responsibilities. So there is leeway. That being said, though, yeah, that could change a little bit based upon they could change the whole way that portfolios work. That's up to them. But that's how we've been running it so far, and that's what we're going to be providing as a handover to whoever joins committee next. Let me quickly run and check if there's any other questions. Did you have anything to add, Ryan?
No, I think we've covered everything else. I also showed on the screen a historical document of some of the information that we were talking about. I can go through some of that in more detail if people are interested. But I'm also conscious of time, and we're already 9, so I also need to get to voting as well. So yeah, I guess I probably want to get maybe we can do it as a motion. Do people still have more questions about this structure that they want to cover, or can we have a motion to move forward with voting for the roles? I don't want to suppress.
We do have one more question from Lee, which was asked several minutes ago and wasn't responded to. So I just want to do that before we move on. Lee said, could you give a basic description of nominations and voting for regional representatives? Specifically, if there are 2 or few nominations for a state, are they voted in by default? The answer to this is there are 2 or fewer nominations for a state, they are voted in by default. Yes.
Provided they are nominated and seconded.
Yes, provided they're nominated and seconded. If you get more than 2, then we have to go to an election. which will involve everyone logging in and all that jazz, all that good stuff. Lee, did that answer your question?
Yep, he said thanks.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Lee.
So, let us go to the motions. Then that the number of ordinary committee members remains at 18 is the first motion. That's to
second that.
I'll second that motion.
And the next motion is that the ordinary members of the committee are bound by states and territories of Australia, and New Zealand, with a maximum of 2 representatives per state and an additional 2 for New Zealand. So Eris said he mentioned that he can't count. What that means is there are 22 positions on the committee, of constitutional ones, and then 2 per state. Those states are Victoria, New Zealand, Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia, Northern Territory, Tasmania, Australian Capital Territory, and New Zealand, which is 9, which thus makes 18 ordinary positions, ordinary committee member positions. No, well, it may have been a joke, Eris, but I thought it was a good point. So we have more than half the audience agreeing that the number of committee members remains the
We
same.
don't.
No, we have 18. 90 of the number of committee members that remain the same.
Oh, sorry. Yes. For that. Yes.
So
yes,
yep,
yes.
that's correct. But the number of members bound by territories. So just a reminder, until a motion gets, in this case, the motion for, it needs to be greater than 15 in order for it to, or 15 or greater in order for it to go through with a positive or a negative, or everyone has to complete it. Oh no, need 6 more thumbs up or thumbs
we're
down.
at 27 people.
Okay, well then we'll
We're
need
at 20.
5 more.
No, I think we're
20.
good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, 27.
We're at 27 people now. So
Okay.
Yeah, we're at
13,
51%.
14.
And 28. Isn't it 23
I only
plus
see-
5?
No,
One
because of the recording.
Oh, gotcha.
recording, yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
So we have 51%.
Then it's
on the
half plus
approval.
1.
Yeah, so we're at 51%. No, Karen.
Non-members cannot vote. Well, looks like there's no more votes, so I'm going to grab it. We do have sufficient numbers based upon the people who are here.
I think it should be noted in the minutes just around ensuring that representation considers the whole of Australia and not just capital cities. I think that's probably a good note just to add to that, Tony and Tom. I think it is important for the new committee to be aware that we're looking for representation of the whole, and we need to be, or the committee, as when they come in, need to be representing as much of the country and countries as possible.
Yeah, and I just added to that. It's the fact that all of our meetings are also virtual, and we run as a distributed virtual organization, also supports having rural representation, not just capital cities.
I think that's a really good
Well,
thing to bring up.
not everybody here is members. The AGM is publicly accessible, but as we move into the voting for roles and everything else, we've got a formalized voting system that is limited to just members voting. Sure. When we can definitely make sure to give everybody a bit more time to vote as we move to the other positional votes. Everybody will have more time to actually consider things as well. Awesome.
Right, well, with that, we have done all of the motions. So now we move on to and I'm going to announce Carl as the returning member.
Officer.
Well, I'm going to propose.
Not member.
Returning officer. We're going to propose Carl as the returning officer. The returning officer hosts the election.
I'll just clarify for everybody that so at this point in time, all of us as current existing committee members are actually stepping down, and we no longer hold those positions. Carl, being the returning officer, has control of the organization during this period of time.
Yep. The only it's still expected for the secretary to do notes. So
Yep.
yes. So I'll still be doing notes. As for so I'm going to hand over a meeting to Carl. If anyone has any regards to voting or the system, I'll be in the chat as well to answer any questions.
Cool.
Looks like we've had a few additional people join, actually. Just a reminder, if you do have a question at any given time, you can press the raise hand button, which will put a little hand next to your image, and we'll be able to get you up on the stage so you can ask it, or you can also ask it through the chat. We've actually completed all of the motions, so if you are unable to join for any reason for the motions, unfortunately they have all been completed.
Okay, thank you, John. So what we'll do from here is we're going to go through President, Secretary, President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, and the states to call nominations for each of those positions, and then call for seconds for each of those, and then bring any, or if there's more than whatever the position is, so one for the committee itself and multiple for the two for the regional representation. Those people will be invited one at a time up onto the stage to talk for about 2 minutes on why they believe they'd be a good for that role. Everybody can then hear that and then make their own decision. We are using Election Buddy for our voting system, which is the first time we've used this for an election. So hopefully that all goes smoothly. We've been testing that in the background. So we will start with Eris use. I'll post this link. Eris, use this instead. Everybody use. There's the link posted in the notes there, in the comments there. So the first
just to
position.
Oh wait, hang on. Just to yeah. So the first link that Ryan provided should lead you to the Election Buddy meeting. The second link, so that'll take you to the announcement, which was like basically a trial. Some of you who had like last minute passwords, that won't work for them. So please don't worry about that. The second one, which is the Tgda AGM, that link may look like it doesn't work, but it should take you to the meeting page. Oh, yeah, it should take you to the meeting page. If that doesn't work, that is okay. I will provide an alternative link, or we can provide an alternative link when a particular position gets voted on, and then from there we can make there. you'll just stay on the one page, and you'll be able to vote for all of the areas that require nomination.
In theory.
Yes.
Cool. So the first position we're going to call for is for President of the Tabletop Game Designers Australia for 2026. So President provides overall leadership, manages the meetings, helps with develops long-term goals for the strategic planning, acts as primary representative in all external matters, coordinates activities, and helps with the decision making of the Tgda. So what we're going to do is call for in the chat, if you could, if you want to be nominated or want someone or wish to nominate someone, if you could please write that you nominate that person or that you nominate yourself in the chat itself for president. First and last names there, please. And then as we receive those nominations, if people could, if you wish to second that person, we can have seconds and thirds. We'll do as we've been doing above, just providing a thumb onto those. We'll note them down in the minutes, and if we get multiple, we'll go from there. So Owen, we'll get to Tasmania later on. Thank you, Eris. I will decline that nomination. The person itself being nominated also has to
Accept it.
Accept it themselves.
Yeah. I'll nominate Jonathan. Yeah, I'll second Tom's nomination.
I will accept it. I was going to nominate Ryan Cross as well. So, Alex,
I will.
you need to mention who you're accepting if you say accepted. Sorry. I'm assuming you meant Ryan Cross. Cool.
I will decline.
So currently we just have Jonathan.
I should put a timer on.
I'm sort of
What I'll do is,
vacating.
as long as somebody is still typing or hasn't raised a hand, we'll leave it open.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Ben
Alex
Harnwell.
I'll second
And
Ben.
Ben declined.
Declined.
Ben declined.
So Tom, we can only accept nominations in absentia if somebody has accepted in prior to the meeting. They would have to accept at the meeting, basically. Unfortunately, I will say, if we don't fill all of the ordinary members tonight, we do have the ability to fill those positions on an ad hoc basis throughout the rest of the year. So if, for example, we don't have enough people from Tasmania or New Zealand or whatever else, we can always add those people later. So, for example, Tom, if there's somebody that you would like to nominate, but they're not able to be here tonight, they won't necessarily be able to run for president, but they might be able to fill a different role if, or one of the ordinary roles, if in a later point.
The other thing, this isn't something that we had considered. I'm pretty certain that maybe I'm speaking off the cuff here, but in theory, we should still be able to vote for them if they don't win. Then the person who
No, you have to accept your nomination.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Tom brings up they have a proxy. I might defer that question to Ben because he's a little bit more familiar with the specifics of the rules. I don't know if we can accept a proxy acceptance.
No, I don't believe a proxy can accept unless it's been prearranged. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I would have had to pre-accept.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, with that,
I think I'm gonna
any
call
final
that,
nominations?
John. You keep your mouth shut, John.
Okay, I'm going to turn off my mic. So actually, I'll leave the stage. In fact,
I'll take care of this real quick. There you go.
Thank you.
Secretary moves into the.
So, cool. So with that, I'm just skimming the chat as these last messages are coming in. We will accept Jonathan Kalea as the president for 2026. So next up, we will be running the election for the vice president of Tgda for 2026. So vice president is the supports the president and all other roles in their absence. Has project oversight over their specific bodies, helps supporting with the leadership development and succession planning if the president is unable to attend. I will call for vice president nominations. Thank you for the nominations, people. Yet again, I'm going to decline the vice president nominations, at least for this year. I'll nominate Ryan Cross for vice president.
I'll accept that. I'll also second the nomination for Ben.
Ben, do you accept that? He declines as well.
So we had a nomination for Matthew Lee, which he declined as well. And Ben has also declined. Thomas jokes there's the fifth second for me. Yeah, I think I've heard the second and I've accepted. Thank you.
He doesn't have to accept it, Ryan. Kieran. Okay, cool. With that, I think I am going to call it. So Ryan Cross will be the vice president for 2026. Next up, we have the what do we do next? Treasurer next. So the treasurer takes care of all the financial aspects.
I'll also
financial statements, record keeping. Yep. Let's go for it. Yeah, I'll second Ben as well. Yep.
Multiple seconds, and Ben has accepted.
Okay, I'm going to call that as well. So Ben is the treasurer for 2026. Next up, we will have secretary. So secretary, as John is doing very diligently right now still, record keeping, documentation, communication, maintaining the membership records, minutes for meetings and compliance.
I'll nominate Lee Perot.
Yep, I'll second that.
We got a second from Chris and from Eris.
Lee, do you accept? He leaves everyone hanging.
As a good secretary does.
He's too busy taking minutes. Oh,
Oh. I will nominate Tom Allen. Tom has accepted his nomination, and Fiona declines
has
my nomination.
Okay, cool. I think we'll call that there. Tom Allen is secretary for 2026. So that is the four primary committee positions. We'll now go on to the general members for each state. So how this will work, we will be again calling for nominations and seconds. If we have more than 2 people for each of those, then we will go to a vote for those. So this is people whose primary place of residence is in Victoria, or in whatever the state or country is, country being New Zealand. So we'll start with Victoria. So we will call for the general committee members, general committee members from Victoria. Region, yes. Okay, Alex was nominated and has declined. Chris Anthony has been nominated. Lee has been nominated. Lee Parrott. Chris has declined. Lee is leaving everyone hanging yet again. Hey, Lee has accepted.
Yeah, gotta play hard to get Lee.
For me, Tom, I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, so don't have time for anything. Yes, you can nominate yourself. Thank you, Ben. If you wish to be in a position, you can nominate yourself. Okay, so I think that means we have a member for Victoria being Lee. So on to New South Wales. So again, looking for 2 for New South Wales. Ryan has nominated Steve D and Matthew French. Steve and Matthew have both been seconded. And Craig Summerton has been nominated.
Craig declines.
And Kieran was nominated but isn't actually a financial member, so cannot accept.
Correct. If we have open space, Kieran can fill an open spot later in the year if he chooses to become a financial member. So eligible to be part of working groups and stuff as well.
If he's a financial member.
Yes.
So Steve, list of duties as a state representative. There are various portfolio positions, basically the same as what you'd have in government, where you'll be assigned to be a primary on one of those portfolios, as well as a second in one or more, and then running things on the ground in the state. So any events that are held in person that Tgda is representing, you would be either attending or manning or managing the people attending those for Tgda throughout the year. Okay, Matthew French has accepted.
Cool.
And Craig has declined. So
yeah, I'll put up the
Steve has declined also.
Yeah, just so that there are a little. I put this up before, but I'll put it up again. So there's a little bit more understanding here. So the way that we work through the roles to some extent is that each of the different constitutional positions have some specific duties. President and vice president, to some extent, back up everybody and all the roles. And then on the the ordinary members, we're looking for each of them to be a geographical representative to essentially coordinate locally. And that doesn't mean that they have to do everything locally, but that we also hope that they will look to take on a functional portfolio. And we can cover the list of portfolios, but again, that can change. But again, the idea is that while this is a working committee, it doesn't mean that anybody that is on committee is expected to do all the work within a particular portfolio. Again, the best example for me is the community management portfolio I led this year, where as much as I coordinated and was also a moderator on Facebook and Discord, I also had other people working with me as essentially a working group to do more of that, so that I wasn't having to do everything myself. And so that would be the same for anybody else to get a working group and be able to get multiple people to contribute to things like events and partnerships and other things that we're all working on. Not sure if that changes your opinion, Steve, about whether you're willing to accept the nomination, but hopefully that answers the question for anybody else.
Okay, I'm going to call that too. So we have Matthew French for New South Wales. Next up, we have Queensland. Calling nominations. Okay. I will also second Eris. Yeah. Eris is accepted. Here, so Jay cannot accept his that nomination.
Again, if we have extra space, we can have people join later in the year, but it may be worth noting that Jay was part of the committee at the start of this most recent year and stepped down in, I think that was November or December of last year as well. So don't know if he is still interested, but we can definitely reach out to him. And so I can put this up as well. This is the list of current portfolios.
A question, Ralph, are you in Queensland? Ralph has said he is, but has declined. Okay, I'm going to call that one too. So we have Eris Hala as our Queensland representative. Next up, we have Western Australia. I'll nominate Wes. Okay, Wes declined.
Okay. So our representative for this year out of Western Australia was Odd. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. I know he was busy towards the end of this year, so I don't know if he was planning on renewing or running again, Tom. Probably not.
Irving.
More declines in small world. Yeah.
Okay, so we will keep the WA spaces open and pass on those. Next up, we have South Australia. Alex has nominated Matthew Lee. Matthew is present. Matthew has been seconded and accepted. Matthew points out, he is the only person in South Australia. Yes, you can always self-nominate. Thank you, Tom, for that reminder. Cool. Next up, we have Northern Territory. If there is anyone from Northern Territory, please raise your hand. If you know anyone from Northern Territory who makes board games, please point them in our direction. We'll keep that one short and sweet. So on to Taz. Owen Lee has self-nominated. Alex has seconded. Ben has also seconded as well. And Owen's accepted. David Dawkins has been nominated.
I just noticed I don't think he's actually here tonight.
I do not see him. So David will not be able to accept, fortunately. Cool. So Owen. Owen Lee has been will be accepted as the TAS ACT all for nominations. Okay, we've had nominations for Thomas Biederman and Fiona McIntosh. Okay, Thomas has accepted. He hasn't actually been seconded yet. You can still accept, Thomas. Cool. Both seconded and accepted. Fiona has declined. Tegan is not present, Chris.
Yeah.
For the minute, Alex, we've already passed Vic, so we can loop back to that. Yep, yes, any paying members can be in any position. Cool. We'll call ACT and New Zealand. Steve I got to get your name right here, Steve. Steve McKillerton. Has been nominated, seconded, and accepted. Killerton. Thank you for coming along, Steve. And I was late there. Okay, cool. I think we will call everything. So from here, we can welcome the new committee member into their seats. So the new committee now basically takes control of Tgda for the coming 12 months. if can we invite John back onto the stage as the new president?
Thank you so much, everybody, for nominating this stellar list of committee members. I am super excited to work with all of you. I'm also super happy that we didn't end up needing to use the voting software. But either way, it was all ready to go just in case. But thank you for everybody who has attended this meeting. And I'm really looking forward to continuing on all of the great work of the whole 2024 well 2024 committee and 2025 committee. But I think what is really, really important here to mention is that we've had a number of committee members that looked after Tgda at various times in the year. So before we really do anything, I just want to say a big thank you to the committee for 2025. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Wes, for your contribution. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Tegan. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew, I already said. This is really awkward now that I've gone about listing everybody. But the whole point here is that and Ahmed, thank you, Ahmed. Yes, absolutely.
And Ryan,
he did
other Ryan,
and of course Ryan. Sorry, Ryan, you were baked in, like, yeah, both Ryans,
two Ryans.
Actually, yes, Ryan Higgins as well.
Yeah.
I think that this year has set up, well, 2025 has completely set up 2026 to be a really, really good year. And I don't think any of us should take that for granted. So massive, massive thank you. I wish I could do the sound effect of like claps for the audience. But yeah, so look forward to bigger and better things. With that, that's all that I need to say.
Finish. I just don't want to take a moment. One, I can bring up the last year's committee as well as this year's committee to the stage. But there was a couple questions earlier on in the meeting that I wanted to give people an opportunity to speak to. At the same time, I know particularly Steve in New Zealand, it's definitely probably getting pretty late there. So if anybody feels the need to go ahead and leave, that's probably okay. But I think it's a good idea to open the floor for other questions and discussion if we need to.
John, Ben, sorry, has just stated that we need to close the AGM before we do any other business. So,
yes,
John, if you could call.
I call for the end of the AGM before we move on to any other business. Cool. Sorry,
Cool.
take it away, Ryan.
So yeah, I think there was a question about DevCon from Steve, and there was also a question about, I forget what was the other question about.
The EOI for the games stuff.
Yes. So
the game stuff that
yeah.
that game stuff that people do here.
Distribution kind of plans that we've been working on. So yes, you're right that we did call out this year for expression of interest around a distribution partnership that we've been working through. We're still continuing to work through that process, and that has been moving slow. Part of that is because there are additional internal kind of processes and things that we as an organization need to do before we continue moving forward, as well as there will be a number of next steps. We have roughly shortlisted the people who have expressed that interest for taking part in a pilot, but that hasn't been communicated because we're not ready to move forward with those things yet. I'll also take the opportunity just to say I know that there's been a couple of questions about who we're looking to do the distribution partnership with. Because that partnership actually isn't moving forward yet, we're not going to be discussing who we're doing that with until we're ready to actually implement that. But do know that everybody's continuing to work on good grounds. There is not a reason or some. I've heard there's been questionable reasons to not discuss it. It's just not good practice for us to announce partnerships with before they're actual partnerships to announce. So beyond that, I'm happy to talk or answer other questions about that, but that's where that's at. We're definitely looking forward to progressing with that. We'll probably have another meeting probably in the next month if we can. Otherwise, we'll kick off in the beginning of the new year, and we'll communicate with the people who have submitted things when we're ready to move forward with that. Cool. In terms of the questions around, if there's any, let me know if there's any other questions around the distribution deal. Otherwise, I'll wait for Steve to end on DevCon. Just on the point of it, of who it might be, I'll just kind of mention as well. The arrangement that we're working with is not an exclusive deal. Both, this should have been on the forms that people filled out, but it is both not exclusive. If you decide to work through our partnership program or our distribution deal, one, that's not going to be exclusive to us. And similarly, there's no exclusivity to the distribution partners that we can work with. So it's also possible that we might end up working with multiple distribution partners. So if that also helps kind of explain people's questions, but Steve, if it's easier, I can just bring you onto the stage if you want to ask your question in person. Yeah, Ralph.
I just finished.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just finished typing. Yeah, there was just a concern with someone who was asked to come along to DevCon to speak, and then was hit with the entrance fee. I understand why that happened, but it might just be a bit about clarifying overall somehow. What are the expectations around that? And yeah, I guess if you are a speaker at an event, there, we can say we're not paying you for speakers, but if you are a speaker, like you are you there as a member sharing your knowledge on an equal level, or are you someone coming in to do a talk, and therefore is there some sort of process where that person not necessarily doesn't have to pay, but it's just, I guess it's just about clarifying the role of speakers. If that makes sense?
100%. Yeah. So I guess there's two things I'll say to that. So the first is, as we move forward this year, we can definitely make changes both about what we communicate and what that policy is. I will say that for this past DevCon, and also all DevCons past, it's been the policy that both all speakers have paid, as well as the fact that all committee members have also paid to attend DevCon as well. Now, again, like I said, that policy can be amended and changed, but that's currently the way that's been done. So I agree that possibly could be communicated better, but that's why that was the way it was this year.
I should mention that I would jump in more readily if I wasn't also still acting as secretary. But the other point I would like to make is that when we were looking for speakers, we hadn't got plans for any sponsorship yet, and so
we hadn't received any yet.
Yeah, we hadn't received any sponsorship yet, and so we had to work on the assumption that we had the cover, like what people paid to attend was going to cover the whole event. And just for the record, what if we didn't have sponsorship, DevCon may have actually lost the TGDA money this year. Not a significant margin, but it was it was necessary that we charged everybody their admission financially.
So then, answer your question, Steve?
Yep.
Cool. All right. I'll just go back. There's a couple of additional questions around the distribution program. Where was the... In terms of percentages, that's part of the things that we're still working through, Ralph. It is expected that we will take a portion. What that exactly that will be, we're trying to work out. Part of that is simply because of the fact that there is a level of overhead for us to do the financial administration, to distribute payments and everything else, as well as financial liability for people in that arrangement that we need to cover as well. But we'll go through that in a lot more detail as we progress. The question here from Eris, now that you're on committee, do you need to recuse yourself from the distribution program? No. There are very few things that committee members are not allowed to participate in. One of those things is some of our awards programs, but we're also working, I think, to find ways of structuring award programs and everything else so that being part of committee isn't seen as any kind of like negative or anything else, but maintains integrity into the process so that if you're not part of the committee, it also doesn't feel like people get an unfair advantage for being part of the committee either. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Yeah, Tom kind of hits it on the nail. I would anticipate your games would still be part of the arrangement, but just not any decisions on which are selected if there's a limit. That's correct, yeah. Cool. I don't see any additional questions coming up. If there are, happy to take them. But there's also one of the things that we'll probably work forward to is, and John can talk about this as well, but we'll need to arrange a handover process between the previous committee members and the new committee members. And we'll probably also be looking to send out a survey. Jay's arrived a little bit late, but nice to see you, Jay. It's also
And he's gone.
And he's gone. We'll also be looking to send out probably an end of year feedback form for all the things that people would like to see us do in the next year, and feedback on things that have happened throughout this year. So for anybody who's interested in that, definitely be on the lookout for that.
In regards to Steve, your question about in regards to complaints, at the moment, anyone can make emails to contact at tgda.org.au in regards to complaints, official, other things that they want to raise. But the other thing is, I trust that if you raise complaints to any member of the committee, they should be bringing it to the attention of the entire committee. Yeah. So in theory, you should be able to raise it with any committee member, and the committee members have been on the TGDA website, on the committee structure page for the whole year. Yeah. So does that answer your question, Steve?
I'll also just add from a community management perspective, Steve. So there's some additional processes depending on the type of complaint that you're referring to. So in the Discord community, so there is a specific channel called server feedback where you can both leave complaints as well as suggested improvements. And if you tag anybody with the @moderator or playtest host role, that will get somebody's attention, and you can raise issues there. On the Facebook group, I just had to deal with this today. Somebody actually flagged a piece of content that they felt was inappropriate, and so there's a process from that perspective, whether that's spam or complaints or any appropriate behavior from people in the Facebook channel, and that also gets escalated in a similar process, but through different software processes on Facebook. And we do have multiple email addresses that we monitor and that are not tied to specific people, so that you should feel free to flag any specific complaints and any behavioral concerns we have. We do also have a code of conduct as well that we may or may not want to revise and edit if we feel that you need to, but there is a process for that as well. An anonymous process might be useful. Yeah, I definitely think that's something that we can look into, Eris. I do know that there's a process through Facebook that allows anonymous kind of complaints. I'll have to see if there's one for some of the other ones, but we can look into that. Yeah, we have a lot of Google Forms, Ralph. Yes, there's.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll also flag that we tend to have a process when somebody makes a suggestion. It's first point of call is to let them be also the one to help lead the charge on implementing that. So being part of the new committee, Eris, that might be something that we can get you to set up.
That doesn't necessarily mean you have to accept that work.
Agreed. Just
I will be talking to all the new committee members and organizing, getting Tom, our new secretary, to organize some. So Tom, unfortunately, your secretary, you do have a role. You're responsible for helping manage the meetings. It's within the Constitution. So yes, indeed, Matt. But for everyone else, we'll be talking about what you feel are your strengths and what sort of work you would like to take on. So don't feel like if someone nominates you for a particular piece of work that you have to do it right now. We'll have a meeting about that later.
Cool. All right. I see a few more people commenting, but it feels like questions have kind of come to a close. If there's anything else, or if any of the new committee members want to step up and say something, or old committee members, I'm happy to bring everybody else up onto the stage.
The other thing, I just want to say one last thing. Before I had joined committee, one of the big pieces of feedback that one of the reasons why I had joined the committee was because there seemed to be an understanding from some members that there wasn't enough basically transparency around how the Tgda functioned, and that wasn't because the Tgda was trying to hide anything. It was just that it functioned a particular way, and when Ryan and I got onto committee, we went about trying to helping establish this new structure to help ensure that there was transparency. And I just want to say that it's really, really great that we are having this AGM and we're being transparent about not only the decisions that are being made, but who's getting elected. I think it's a massive win. So I just want to call it out, say a big thank you to once again to the previous committee, and you've left this year's committee in a really good spot.
I second that.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think, so I've been on the committee now for this is my 9th year. of being on the committee. And I would just like to say thank you to everybody for, I guess, supporting Tgda for so long. It has been great to see what we've been able to do. I think some of the bigger things that we've done earlier on being Collaboratory and PAX Rising, being able to push for those and get those bigger events happening. It's, I think, sad for me to be not partaking this year, especially with this fantastic committee we have this year. But I know at the minute I just can't commit enough time to do it justice. So
I'm happy to message you every day with updates if you want.
oh, thanks. I appreciate that. It'll go with all the other everyday messages from all the other updates. In a good way, Eris. Yes, no. So yeah, I wish the new committee good luck. I'm very proud of what I think we were able to accomplish this year, and can't wait to see it continue to grow over the next 9 years, and hopefully I'll be back sometime soon.
Cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're still going to be a member, Carl, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be
I-
around.
And yes, I'll be around. Oh, I'm still doing everything, game design, and
Beautiful.
everything.
Maybe even more game design now.
Maybe. I'm sure that won't happen.
I just want to say a huge thank you to all the outgoing folks because, yeah, as has been said in the chat, like you've all done stellar work and like really helped everyone, helped this organization get here. And I know, like a bunch of people here, I encourage people when I meet them who are new designers to join the group, and so it'll be good to do it in a bit more of an official capacity for me. But yeah, thank you all the folks who've built it so we can get here, and Alex and everyone who started it. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yay, claps.
Yeah, claps. Yeah, I agree. We do need that sound effect button.
Yeah, Thomas, you've got your hand raised. Did you want to come up to the stage?
I think I invited him to the stage. Sorry.
His hand is down.
Yes.
Oh, good.
I remember who all we needed to bring onto stage, but I think I've got most people. Okay. I think we can end it there. And one of the things maybe we can also do is make sure, as much as we have our monthly meetings for committee, it might make sense for us to have so two things I'll say. One, we also recently had a speaker session with Gil Walker on this stage, and I think that worked really well as well. This seems to have worked well, and so we'll try to see if we can maybe also encourage some additional open forums for community members to talk to us, and the committee members live as well.
Right. With that,
yeah, go ahead.
5 to 10. Sorry, were you going to say anything else, Ryan?
I was going to say exactly what you're about to say.
With that, thank you all for coming. I would now like to close the meeting. Everybody, if you want to keep chatting, you can jump into the general chat now, where we'll all be able to hear your wonderful voices. But thank you all for coming, and have a lovely evening.
Thanks, everyone.